Hello my dear geeks, I am Paco Garcia. Welcome to the GMS magazine on the go video in the beautiful Turia Gardens in Valencia. Today I'm bringing you another of the questions for the RPGaDay 2018, and this question is actually quite tricky because it's asking me to describe a tricky RPG experience, and I do have a number of them. I'm going to describe just two of them. Because those are the ones that have had an impact. One of them in a group I was with, and another one in a group I was playing during a convention. So the first one, we were playing the Rune Lord's campaign from the Paizo for the Pathfinder game, and my character was a halfling ranger with an absolutely insane dexterity, and during the game itself we found a warhorse called Shadow Mist. If you play this particular adventure, I'm sure you're familiar with it. Anyway, I decided that being the ranger I was going to do a kind of handle animal role and see if I could tame the animal and keep it. Because what the hell, it's a warhorse. I mean, it was huge, it was amazingly huge, and they're not cheap animals. So I thought I'm going to try it. I roll very well, and I decided to keep the horse. But one of the players decided that wasn't very congruent, because how could a little hobbit that is barely 3 feet tall able to ride a horse that is like 9 feet tall? How was I going to be able to open my legs enough, to spread my legs enough, or whatever, to actually ride the horse? And that was an ongoing struggle for a number of weeks. It so happened that I had to stop coming to that game for a few weeks, and decided to kind of retire my character for a little bit. Using the downtime rules, I decided that I was going to take one of the keeps that we had kind of discovered at the beginning of the game, and I was going to use it to create a fighting academy, a ranger academy of sorts. When I wanted to return to the game a few weeks later, I discovered that the player who didn't believe a hobbit could ride a horse decided to actually sell the horse and use the money, and he thought that would be something really good fun. The GM allowed it, and I thought, that is shitty as hell. That you've taken all the agency from my character and from me as a player, not just the character, but from me as a player, just because something I was very keen on, something I was very fond of, didn't fit or match your narrative. I thought that was absolutely appalling. It was appalling that somebody had decided to do it, and I thought it was appalling that the GM had decided to allow it, or allow it without any kind of consequences. So I decided to leave that group. I talked about it with them. The guy, far from apologizing, thought that what he'd done was something hilarious and very funny, and he was sorry the distress that had caused to me, but did not regret having done it, because he thought that it was fun. And I just thought, nah. No, not for me. I'm out. I'm completely out. I didn't want to continue with this. That was incredibly tricky and very painful. A really painful experience. Not just because of what happened to the character, which at the end of the day is just a character, and you can remake it, you can do anything with it. That wasn't the big deal. But the fact that people that I trusted my character with decided to abuse them and my decisions just because they thought, no, this cannot happen in a fantasy world. No, that was way too much. I think that was incredibly disrespectful, and I didn't want to continue with that group on that ground. Now, the thing that happened to me during the convention, that was on the go. That was a situation that I had to deal with pretty much immediately, and it was on a topic that as you can imagine, being a gamer, quite an important topic for me. We were playing a game of Home, which I had just published in Spain. And in that game, one of the things you do, which is one of the things I like the most about it, is that you have to build the world in every single game you play. You have to answer a number of questions, and you have to decide how you're going to win that game, you know, how the world is going to feel for that particular game. And then when you play again, then you have to do exactly the same thing, and then you have to decide what kind of world you're going to have again. And I like that. Now, one of the questions that you have to ask and answer is describe an illness that's, or a plague that's right now blighting the world. That one of the players was meant to answer that, but another one that wasn't meant to answer that decided that, have an illness that turned people gay would be a very easy, a very fun, funny thing to do. Now I had two choices. Well, I have many choices, but my inclination would have been to call the bigot by his name. You know, just tell him you don't have a space in my table. I'm not interested in homophobes. Thank you very much. That's the door. But I'm the publisher, and also I was actually not running the game because this is a GM-less game. But I was the one responsible to make sure that everybody was having a good time, because I was the only one who knew what the game is all about. So the way that I decided to run this, I literally said to the guy, as a gay man, I do not find that funny. My sexual orientation is not an illness. It's not something that can be cured, and it's not something that can be infected. So I am not going to tolerate that. The guy, that obviously said a few, you know, faces around the table. They're saying, okay, good for you. But then I decided to do something that was going to make him feel uncomfortable, very much on purpose. And I decided that my character secretly was going to be trans. I was running a Minotaur, which was like 3 meters tall by 2 meters wide. And I called myself Alex. And I didn't say anything, but my character was trans. And eventually that transpired. And eventually he had a very, very funny face when my character, even though it looked really masculine and really butch and very strong, and he thought it was male, but decided that when we found a couple of calves, two little puppy Minotaurs, I lifted my kilt, and off came my udders, and these two calves began to suck of them and get milked, you know, and eat, because, you know, that's what cows do. That's what Minotaurs will do, I feel, in the real world. And that was very tricky. It was very tricky for him. It was quite tricky for me to find a way on the go to deal with that kind of homophobia around the table, but also as a publisher to find a way to do it that would not antagonize anybody else around the table, because when you have the responsibility of a book that you've published, you have to be very careful what you say. You cannot, you know, freedom of speech is not free anymore, because the price you can pay for it can be quite high. So those are my two tricky experiences, and one nastier than the other, as you can imagine. But anyway, those are mine. I'm sure you have way worse tricky experiences than me, and I would love to hear what you have to say. So thank you very much indeed for watching. Please leave me your comments. They mean a lot, as do your thumbs up if you have enjoyed this video. Remember to subscribe and share this video, share the love, and I very, very much look forward to hearing from you. I am Paco Garcia, and I'll talk to you very soon.